know
What's the word?
your word.
We're supposed to pick a word for the day.
Right now, your word for the day.
Oh,
Who used to have the word for the day? Was it Mr. Rogers? Was it Sesame Street? Oh, Sesame Street. Your word for the day. The word for the day is, mine is joy. Mine is joy. What is yours? You know, I was kind of reading back through some of your forms you did before starting this, which I appreciate. Getting to kind of get a feel for where you're at, what you're working on, it really helps me to help you. And what was I going to say about that? Oh, a lot of you were talking about affirmations, right? So it's like, well, why do we do that? It's like we're harnessing our energy towards something, you know. Being a yoga teacher, anyone else take yoga? Some yogis here? Yeah, well, you know, we have what we call a drishti. It's your gaze, right? It's one of the focal points, your drishti. So if you think of your drishti, your gaze, it's where we're setting our gaze, we're setting our sight, so that, as we know, in yoga, we've got the monkey mind, we can be all over the place, we're going after this, we're going after that. Well, what happens when we set our gaze, right? We set our drishti. We set it with the breath, we set it with a word, we set it with an intention, so that we can kind of let go of the monkey mind and center back into our groundedness, our truth, right? So that's why, a little backstory why I ask you what word you're coming in with, is we could come in distracted. We could come in with whatever was happening before. Maybe you're coming in feeling great. I don't know, but whatever it is, we can shift into this moment with that which you desire right now. And what's so interesting is when we bring that energy to what we're about to do, intentionally investing in your time, isn't it so interesting what can happen, right? So let's see, we got focus, joyful, gratitude, faith. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, zest. That's a good one. Trust, optimism, abundance, curiosity. I love these. These are amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing these. Scattered. So let's reframe. Let's do a reframe here, my dear Amy Riley. So if you are feeling scattered, I get it. Yeah, I get it. You know, we have a lot of stuff going on, right? Sometimes we're putting out fires. We're not sure where to put our energy. So if you were to cultivate a feeling that you desire right now, what would that be? So if we're shifting from scattered to something, what would that shift be? Where would you be putting that energy? Where would you be putting your investment, in what bucket? There we go. Love it. Energized. Sounds good. It's kind of interesting because, like, the energy of scattered and energized can kind of be the same energy. It's just, what intention am I bringing to it? Right. So, there you go. Hi, it's good to see you. How are we feeling from yesterday? Any other ahas? Any other thoughts about the hypnosis? Curious. I've talked to some of you a little bit here and there in the DMs, but anything else you want to reflect on? Happy to hear it. As we are going to move into our aligned action today, we're going to do an exercise, a practice that you get to do. I'll probably pick one of you to do it with me. Again, I'm really picking probably like the most tangible of things. So know that when I am choosing someone, it may be a very tangible thing, and everything we do can be implemented according to what you desire, according to what you want, right? So just because I pick a certain person and what they're working on, it doesn't have to be anything related to what you're working on. As some of you know who are in the mastermind with me, right? Anne O'Deal, Jennifer, y'all are working on some different things, right? And it's absolutely perfect because it all works. It all works, right? So, okay, more focused, at peace. No questions, no comments as so far. We're good? Just gonna roll right in. Okay, we're rolling right in. I'm gonna share my screen. Dun, dun, dun. Bring it back to this. And I just want to go back to our kind of chart here, our flow, right? And we've gone through some of the clarity practices, getting in congruity with that which we desire. When we do that, Sometimes things show up for us, our fears show up for us. What's it going to be like if I'm really visible? Can I really do it? This happened in the past. It's like the sunken cost fallacy, right? Well, because I put a lot of energy into this already, I already invested a bunch of money in this way, I got to keep going. It's a sunken cost fallacy, right? So when we get clarity, typically something's going to show up, something will bubble to the surface in order to be released. That's why, as we have gone through this, we did that rubber band practice. Because what I found is when I go to up level, that very thing that I want, I'm like, I see that, I want that. There may be something, a limiting belief, something standing in my way, that when I identify it, I get excited. Because I know when I identify it, that means that I am in my up level. That means that I'm moving from my comfort zone to my growth zone, right? So that's where we did the rapid release practice. We did the hypnosis yesterday. And today we're going to kind of move into this embodied action. So and tomorrow I'm excited. We're going to do some intuitive accountability to scale. So I'm excited about that, using our intuition with that too. So one thing I kind of want to mention, you know, as I was kind of reading through everyone's forms and everything, one thing I noticed was this. It's like, I feel like a really common fear is the fear of being seen. Can anyone relate to that? Like, well, if I actually do it, you know, there's a lot of like, hey, it's a world of pure possibilities. As much as there are, right, Marcia? As much as there are beautiful, amazing people out there are some people who are really mean out there too. And when they're on the internet, they feel entitled to just say whatever mean thing comes across their mind to whomever they are experiencing, right? And what's interesting is what I look at is the more visible someone is, what happens? The more some of them actually, they don't always get nice comments. I'm going to throw a couple of words out there, and I'm curious what you're going to think about the word I'm saying, okay? Crocs. Helena, love them, hate them, right? Crocs. You might have some strong feelings about them. Okay, oh, we got a thumbs up. Yeah, you can give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. There's no judgment here. Taylor Swift. Okay, I see. Yeah, Marsha. All right, there you go. Madonna. Sardines. You betray me. So I wanted to do that because, I mean, we might have some strong, I'm willing to bet that Amy and I have some very strong and different feelings around sardines. And if sardines were showing up on the internet, they might get some love and they might get some hate, right? Sardines. So what I've found is, I just wanted to have a little fun with that, especially the Crocs, because my kids love their Crocs. And they feel like, I even want to say, I don't even understand how on my feet, I have a size 10 foot. Nobody wants to see me wearing Crocs around the neighborhood. Okay, so what that brings us back to, and I'm going to skip over here, is, you know, look, here's the deal, right? We want to feel safe socially. We don't want to get kicked out of the tribe. That feels terrible because in the past, that would have meant certain death, right? So it's very normal to want to belong. However, the more that we lean into our amazing uniqueness, right? The more that we are kind of leading the way in our own way. My daughter loves Taylor Swift. My son is like, what the heck? He's 10. So they have very strong feelings about someone who is, as I see, you know, paying people decently. Like, she's doing amazing things. It's like, you go, right? And there are people who they can't stand her. So the more that you show up, what if we embrace that we are going to maybe be not intentionally divisive, and yet people will feel divisive about us, right? Because we are leaning into something that comes through us. Maybe it channels through us, or we just really like it just as much as Amy likes sardines and I don't. Right? What if the leaning in is exactly what we are being called towards? And there is a breakthrough that happens when we no longer have to take someone's mean comment personally. And in fact, there is this one guy, say what you will about him. He goes on Facebook as Father Nathan Monk. I'm gonna do this so I can see your face. Father Nathan Monk. And every time he gets some negative comment or you're just doing this to make money, he uses it to sell more product. He's like, this is all visibility. Anyone who says something negative about him, he utilizes it towards his own advantage. He's like, hey, y'all, this is what I'm selling. So as you're scrolling through and you're in it, you're eating the popcorn, you're watching the drama, he's like, awesome, you just boosted the algorithm for me. Thank you so much, right? Embracing it, literally just embracing it and having fun with it. So it's no longer holding any power over him. I don't know, he might have a bad day, it might hurt. I mean, people have said some really mean things. He has dyslexia and people will comment on stuff. I'm sure he's over it some days. But I really appreciate watching him. It feels that people might just wait for you to fail if you start something new. Yeah, is that true? Are some people waiting for you to fail? I won't deny it. I won't deny that some people might in a weird way want to see me fail, but what is that actually saying? Is it even about me? What mirror am I showing to them, right? What mirror am I showing to them? If someone, I don't know, Becky from high school, sorry if you know a Becky, like I don't even know a Becky, but let's say it's Becky from high school and she's watching me and people see my stories and they don't comment and it's like, okay, so it's fine. But like Becky from high school, she wants to see me fail. Why? Am I sort of showing her something outside of her box? Like that because of who I am or how I grew up, that I am not someone who's supposed to succeed in this way? Am I threatening her in some way? Is it a threat to her? Is it a threat to her schema or her mental schema? Right? To be honest, none of that has anything to do with me, right? I am just a mirror. And I think I've mentioned this for me personally, having this conversation with my own mom who doesn't agree with psychicness, being a Catholic, I don't have to change her mind. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. I hope she wants to see me succeed, but maybe if she feels jealous or doesn't like it, what if it has nothing to do with me? I am just representing something to her that feels like it's not in her schema, right? It is not in her schema. So I am willing to love her through that. And my hope is that she can love me being me too, right? Not everyone's going to. And guess what? It's a big world. Some people like Crocs, some don't. When we embrace that, like, it's not a big deal. Someone doesn't like what you're doing, who cares? What if we just embrace the who cares of it? And if they have to comment, roll with it. Let it boost your algorithm. Be like, thank you so much for the drama and boosting my algorithm. As long as they don't come after you. If it gets personal, they come to your house, it's another story. But that's also really creepy. And hopefully the police would get involved. So you see what I mean? It's sort of like, yes, it's very normal to want to be part of the tribe. I look at like a product like Dr. Bronner's, and I think about Dr. Bronner's soap. And I don't know, when it first began, it was sort of like the hippy dippy soap, right? And now they have Dr. Bronner's like bubble parties. Like, so we live really close to the Dr. Bronner's, so maybe it's just in our area. They'll bring like Dr. Bronner, like I actually did a mud run at Camp Pendleton, a marine mud run, and they had it was actually really nice. I got super clean after it. Like they had this like Dr. Bronner's like soap area with music playing. And anyway, that it goes to show, if you read the label on Dr. Bronner's, some people would be like, that's nutso, right? But it's become this brand you can buy in Target now. So I guess all that to say, I think sometimes we get ahead of ourselves, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I'm going to be so visible. Well, the other thing I want to say on that is, let me see what you're saying down here. Lawrence, talk about not sharing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What you can choose one way or the other what you want to do with that. I think that if you aren't bothered by others people's opinions of your manifestations, then it doesn't matter. If you're looking for validation from those people around your manifestations, then you might receive an energy that you don't want because your own energy isn't in the trust of it to begin with. See what I mean? So that would just be my 2 cents, but we can have our different opinions about that too. So the only other thing I want to say about this is, what was I going to say? I might have lost my train of thought, and if I did, I'll go on to the next thing and then it'll pop back in. But being visible, not wanting to get too big too soon. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, this is the other thing. So especially if you are someone who's kind of in your sort of spirit-led business, right? For some people who are here, one of the main things I feel like that is sort of missing in that, we're seeing a lot, there's all these people, we're doing this, we're doing that. The main thing that's missing is connection, right? Like my hope is we're all sitting here together and we are connecting. We're connecting in this lovely group, the chat, like you're supporting one another. I see people asking for this and that from one another, but to me, it's connection. So, as we sort of are like troubleshooting, well, if I'm going online and putting my message out this way, it's like, well, what is my best method to connect with the people who most want what I have to offer, right? And sometimes we're going to be posting a lot. Well, let's just have the evidence. Am I making connection? Am I connecting? And if I don't see I'm connecting, is there a different way? This isn't really the date where I'm going to talk about this. I might talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. I do feel like I had a real hesitancy to like start my Facebook group. I didn't want to go on there, like no one's showing up, right? So there was a long time I kind of like avoided it. And I do feel like I have a way better method of connecting now, which is what I wanted all along. I feel like Insight Timer has been an amazing place to connect because everyone's kind of there for the same thing, So that's just kind of just one thing I wanted to two things I wanted to mention. One is what I said, Crocs, sardines. And then the other one is just like, how am I making connections? And if my posts are not making connections, then I may just want to switch gears. So I just wanted to kind of bring those 2 things up. Dying people. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Thank you so much, Patricia. Exactly. Right. Exactly. And especially in a world where, is it me or is it AI? I promise it's me. Is it me? Is it AI? Am I talking to AI? Who am I talking to in the DMs? Is it AI? Right? Connection. So what we're going to kind of move into, any other comments, questions, pop them in. As we move into this place, right, these higher levels, joy, unconditional love, these things, oh, I'm going to be judged. Becky from high school is going to compare herself to me. None of that stuff matters anymore, right? We are in self-actualization. We're in like, this is the thing that I love. I am in self-actualization. I'm in my mission. I'm not attached if the next person agrees to work with me or not. It's a long arc. I'm in for the long haul here, right? So kind of wanted to start there. And now what we're going to move into is, I feel like a really cool process. And the thing is that, we look at people who are really killing it, really thriving. These are just some examples, whatever you think about them or not. But there's kind of these 2 major stories, right? And the first story is that our greatness begins with a T, and it is called talent, right? Oh, well, you're just really good at that. You're just really good at social media. You're just really good at posting. You're just really good at doing lives. You're just naturally good at that. And then the other story is that it comes from practice. Well, you just like practice, you just practiced 1,000, 10,000 hours. You just got really good at it because of all your hard work, right? And then there's this third story, which I really love, and I feel like it really is used by a lot of artists, athletes. This is one of my clients who runs her own company, and we do this together, and it's called reverse engineering. So you might be familiar with that idea. We can reverse engineer from where someone else is that we want to get to. Like my son plays soccer. He wants to be like, I don't know, Messi, Ronaldo. Again, Messi, Ronaldo. Lots of opinions. Well, what happened? How did that person get there? I actually bet he practiced a lot. So the impact of getting support and the number one way to get these big visions, one is written goals get done. This is one thing that I really love is why we're doing a lot of these things is that when we write it down, when it's in my phone, it's probably going to happen for me. If it's not in my calendar, I just don't even know it exists. But if it's there, I'll just follow it and I'll get it done. And written goals that are shared with others definitely get results. Why? Because, well, someone else is now, even if they're not holding me accountable, it's out there, like they know too, right? There's sort of the beauty of the social aspect of it is like, oh, well, it's out there, okay? Before we get into this reverse engineering, I wanna kind of show us one more model. And you might look at this according to some goal that you have for yourself. And I asked you some of your goals. So you might start to bring to mind a goal you have for yourself for, let's say it's the next 3 months. If that doesn't feel like the right amount of time, then give yourself more time. There's no real rules here. Make it a year. If you're like, oh my God, 3 months, just make it a year, make it 5 years. It doesn't really matter. But I invite you just to kind of bring up a certain goal that comes to mind.
She'll take me in what?
I'm sorry? Oh, was someone asking a question? No? Okay. What was going on? If you have a question, feel free to ask. But what I do want to bring up as we move into this is what taking embodied action can do. And we're talking about getting really specific here. It's one thing for me to say, I would like to have $100,000 months. It's another thing for me to actually understand how I am going to help co-create that, manifest it, receive it, and also take embodied action towards it, right? Otherwise, I'm just wishing. Otherwise, it's just a wish. So this is just a really kind of basic example that you can even do for yourself. This may not relate exactly, but I'll bet you can make it relatable to what you are looking to do. And I bring this up because I think for some of us, we're looking at what do we want to earn? Some of us, what do we want to earn monthly? What excites us that we would like to do? Maybe it's running a course, maybe it's working with people one-on-one. I think it's helpful to look at our numbers, right? If I'm selling a $47 course and I want to make $5,000 a month, let's do the math. How many people need to enter my world in order to make that happen? It really becomes simple math. Based on that, now I'm starting to reverse engineer, right? Based on that, what method will I use to bring in, does anybody know that number? I don't know what that number is. Let's just say it's 200 people, which I don't think is right. Is it 200 people? Help. Help me with simple math. If I have a $50 course and I want to make $5,000, does anybody know what that is? Is it 100 people? It's like 100 people, right? Yeah. Look at us. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Whew. All right. So if I need to get 100 people in, okay, what's my best method? How is it working when I post online? Am I getting 100 people? Well, okay, that's not, let's experiment. This is where we get to we get to reverse engineer. Okay, this is how someone else is doing it. Let me see their method. How many people do they have in their world? A lot of times some of these things really are based on our numbers, right? Okay, you might have something that's already working really well for you. How can you lean in more to that? I saw some of us talking about Facebook ads. I think it's very, if you're going to go the route of Facebook ads, I think it's really important to just understand the metrics of the Facebook ads in order to invest your money in something like that. Okay, so in this example, it's really simple. This was with a client I now have who's an acupuncturist and she does other stuff, but basically her hourly rate, this is even more than what she was charging. Let's say she sees 25 clients a week, acupuncture at 180 per hour. It's very dollars for hours, right? Let's say she works 50 weeks a year. She only has 2 weeks off, only 2. Weekly, that's 3,600. Monthly, that's not too shabby. It's 14 grand. Yearly, she's got 100,000, over $100,000 business. No one's complaining about that. But look, she's got 25 clients per week. How much time is she putting into that client acquisition? How are those people coming into her world, right? Yeah, she's only got 2 weeks off a year. I mean, I would want to change those numbers a little bit, but let's take a look at if we just played with this a little bit. Let's say that we gave her a little bit more of an aligned strategy. Let's say that in this situation, we dropped her client workload to 10 per week. It's like maybe 2 per day. She's got time for other things like her marketing. Same amount, still 180. Let's give her less weeks per year. Let's give her 48. Let's give her a whole month off. Why not? Let's let her go to Fiji or something. So her weekly has dropped. It's like 1,800. But now she's going to add in this amazing client journey, right? She's going to do this VIP thing because she also does nutrition. And most people who are coming in, they're looking for like several shifts, right? So when you look at the whole person, look at the big shifts she's helping create. 2 of those per week coming into her world, and now she's up to almost 400,000 for the year, right? So this is like a simple shift. I'm bringing this up because as you do your reverse engineering, I want us to get a little creative and a little playful around what really lights you up, what your numbers look like in order for that to happen, and then what you also might consider to bring in the income that you're saying you desire. Does that kind of make sense? Was that helpful to go through? Okay. Do you have any questions, comments on that one in particular? I just wanted to kind of bring something up that's super, look, I am all about the woo, but we are all kind of bringing these amazing like 5D, and beyond ideas into the now, into the tangible. And it takes tangible stuff. The more I can see, when I saw my numbers, I was like, oh, what if it actually gets to be easier than we think, right? Because we're looking at the numbers, yeah? And if we actually look at the numbers, we're like, oh my gosh, I got to get 5,000 people in my world monthly. We can do that. There might be an investment of time, strategy in order to make that happen. And we might be like, you know what? We can also do this and see what happens. So looking at like, if you are, I am giving the example of business. I know that's not for everyone. So if you are someone who is not doing business and you would like to ask a question more related to your thing, feel free. I'm not trying to like leave anyone out. I'm just trying to give sort of tangible examples. See what I mean? So, okay. So we keep going. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's go back here. And reverse engineer. So we have our target. What are we going to do? We're going to kind of map it out, and we're going to look at the actions we need, and we're going to just sort of even have like it just gets so basic, like a little checklist. So we talk about overwhelm, and I'm over here. What if I dated a certain strategy for a while, rather than like, I'm going to go over here. What if I leaned in? What if I leaned in even more? And if I'm not sure what that strategy is, that's what I'm going to be reverse engineering to. Wherever you don't know, that's your question that has an answer that lives somewhere. It may live in Google. It may live in Ask Jeeves. It may live in another expert or a book or another coach or a mastermind, right? So kind of leaning into that. So that said, we're going to do a little practice to get out of our real strong prefrontal cortexes and get into like our big vision here with a practice we call hakalau. It comes from the Hawaiians. It's actually a really great practice if you want to memorize something for kids who are looking to study for a test. It's helping us to get out of like our myopic vision of like, I got to do this, and kind of get the broader vision where our creativity can come in, where we can get our downloads. We can kind of be in that channel, so to speak, right? That more inspired space. So, you ready? Okay, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a quick look up about 60 degrees. Take your gaze up about 60 degrees, whatever that means to you. A little more than 45, a little more than halfway up. And then take your arms wide so that you can see right in front of you and the whole way out to your fingertips. You can look the whole way out to your outstretched fingertips. Maybe you can even take those fingers back a little bit as you see that whole expanse. Without shifting your eyes, you can take it all in. And I'll bet if you drop your arms and you imagine, without looking at your own screen, what's behind you, you know exactly what is behind you too. I know that I have my cat because I can hear her. I have a little bookshelf thingy, got some wall hangings. Like I know exactly what's behind me, the texture, the shape. And with that, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and allow yourself to take yourself into the future, to the place that you would like. Maybe it is 3 months, maybe it is a year. And begin to envision that which you desire, that which you've stated, that which you've written in your form you sent me. What is it that you truly would love to be in, to be expressing, to be doing? And if you are someone who is simply desiring clarity, or you're like, I just want to go be sitting on a beach, go see that. I just want to feel clear. I just want to be happy. See that. If it's something with your business, clients rolling in, the sales going off with your book, see that. You're on book tour, see that. Notice how you feel. What are you wearing? What is the expression on your face? How does it feel? You might have some things come up. They like to come up, some fears, this and that, some what if. It's okay. It's all right. We see you. We see you. We'll be with you in a moment. Thank you so much. Let yourself be with it. All right. With that, just a very brief trip to that space. I invite you to open your eyes. All right. How was that for you? Did you see it? Did you go there? Okay. If you would like to, what I would love for you to do right now is to write down in the present tense, as if it's happening, with the emotions that you felt, what that was like. For me, let's say I'm in my $100,000 a month and I am joyfully traveling wherever I want with my family. I love serving my clients in big ways, seeing their major milestones and shifts. Life feels so easy, right? That might be some things that I would write. Present tense, emotions, some specifics. If you get a what if, go put it in another little circle on your page. You got the fear coming up, just put it somewhere. Okay, so you may still be writing. That's all right if you are. what we're going to do next is sort of make your timeline. Again, and I'd love for you to put this in the comments so I can see this too. What is the timeline that you desire? Is it, whoops, I don't know what I just did. Is it a timeline of 3 months? Are you looking forward at a year? If you can, just put that in the comments so I can see that too. How far ahead are you going? Okay, got 3 months for Patricia, for Leslie, Amy. Okay, great. Beautiful. We got September. Yeah, we can account for summer. If we know we're going to be doing some stuff over the summer traveling, we can account for that. Beautiful. Okay, great. 1 year. I love it. I love that because we're working on different things and it's going to be most productive to have your time. I love it. Beautiful. So I invite you to do, you might do it kind of long ways on your notebook. A little timeline here where at the end of the timeline, right, on that right-hand side, you are in your big vision, these things that you want to see happening are cooking along, it's happening, it's working. The book is written, it's on the bestseller list, you're doing the book tour, right? And the question here is like, well, when will you know you are there? Like, what is happening at that time in that 3-month marker, that year marker, that you know you're there? This is sort of that, the specifics. I know I'm there because this is what's happening, right? And feel free to put this, just so we can workshop this. I invite you to put this in the comments too, so I can see it and I can help you with it and we can work with it together. So some aspect of your big vision and how you will know when you are there. And I would love to, just for the sake of doing this together, 18 months is not too far out. Go for it. If it feels right, look, I mean, some people are investing in properties, like those things, you know, they could take a little time. It can take, you know, by the time you get started, like a month or two to even get everything signed and sealed, right? So there's no wrong or right on this, okay? So yeah, anything you want to put in the chat. I'm gonna put the chart up again. I wouldn't mind, Helena or Leslie, if you would like to be our guinea pig. Can we use your example? Yeah, Helena, you're gonna do it.
I was gonna say I went the other day, so if Helena wants to do it, go for it.
Okay, I was pointing to go that Christine could go. So now I feel really
Space. It's a safe space.
okay.
What you got? I'm gonna share screen again, okay? So
Well, yeah, it's oh, now I feel really nervous.
well, what's making you feel nervous?
What's making me feel nervous? Because I'm not asking for very much, I hope, but it will make such a significant difference. So I'm
so it's not, this is a thing, it's like, why judge, right? Some people are going to judge if I say $100,000. Some people would judge if you say $1. Crocs, sardines, right?
I'm starting off with £3,000 a month. That's what I'd like. That would make such a massive difference to me and my family.
Absolutely, yeah. And for a lot of people, right? And that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't, I used to feel shame in saying my number in front of a group. Isn't it interesting? And thank you for doing this. I feel like it's important to be able to talk money, especially as women, because of all the stories we've been told about. My parents don't talk about finances. I never learned any of that. I'm like, of all things to learn, I learned what a nematode is, but I don't know how to invest in stocks. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for putting it out there. No one here is judging you. And if they are, let them.
Okay.
I highly doubt anyone is. I seriously highly doubt anybody is. Okay.
Yeah.
It's yours and you get to own it. And if you feel joyful with that number, then you get to own it, because who cares what anyone else thinks, right?
Yeah. For my I'm doing 3 to 6 month vision. If I can consistently hit 3 grand a month, then I know that I'm doing well, and then
Beautiful.
next year is like I'll just go for it.
Yeah.
So I
okay.
feel like a stepping stone.
Beautiful. So, what are you doing in order to be making that in your sort of soul business?
I am redoing a parenting course. I'm creating a new parenting course, which I'm really excited about. And
I'm
I think
excited too, because you are a rock star at parenting and courses.
wow.
Yeah.
I made my first one with Jana.
Yeah, I remember. Look at the three of us OGs back from the Jana Kingsford days. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never even got to that first course. It was so much tech. Okay, so $750 per week. Okay.
It is okay. Yeah.
It is. And so, what are you charging for the course?
Well, I'm just doing my beta, so at the moment it's just $199.
Mhm.
But as soon as I've done this one, it's going up to $247, and then. But I'm also, it's that, and I've got some one-on-one 3-month clients, 3-month mentoring clients. So it's a mixture of the two.
Okay. So, what I love about this is, as you're looking at this, I would imagine the course may be a standalone in and of itself. It also might be a bit of a funnel towards your one-on-one, right?
Yeah, and then it'll be like a monthly. So they get 6 weeks of coaching with me, and then if they want more coaching, like group coaching, then
Mhm.
they just pay to they pay for that as well.
Okay. And what are you charging for one-on-one?
Currently 157, but I'm going to put that up soon.
Is that for one session with you?
No, per month. So yeah, it's for 2 sessions each month. So 157 a month for 3 months.
Okay. So the whole package, oh my God, you guys and these numbers. Well,
It's like I don't know now because I keep doing Aussie dollars and English pounds.
don't
So
worry about it. It's yeah, oh yeah, just use whatever. I just,
just say it's like £400 a month. Does that sound right? Just under 400.
Okay. So for 3 months, it's about 470 total, right?
Oh, I don't know. I've lost my mind. I've lost my
You know
mind on
what?
that.
Just use your money. It doesn't matter to me. We're just going to use your money. Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's 170 a month, 3 is 470, right? And so if we're looking, so what I'm trying to do here is kind of reverse engineer it, right? So
Yeah.
what I'm doing currently, and I want to make $750 a week, then how many one-on-one clients am I bringing into my world per week? I would say my goal would be about 2, right?
Yeah, because I was just doing the calculations as you were doing yours. So I was doing, it's about 12 course members a month.
Okay.
Gets me 3 grand. So which feels very doable.
Great. Okay. So as we kind of reverse engineer this, and hopefully this is helping you if you're doing your own, right? What are you doing about, like, what do you sort of see happening? You can go halfway. When you're halfway there, what are you doing? What actions are you taking?
I didn't do actions, but I said like for halfway there, I'm getting 10 new clients a month. Because actually then I think, sorry, I'm sounding like all over the place, but I think I started off 3 grand and I was getting 12 new clients a month. I reckon I could get more than that. So my scarier goal is 20 clients a month. So I was saying halfway is when I get 10 clients a month.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So,
and I'm on my phone, so I can't quickly do the calculations.
oh, it's okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So, if it's 10 clients per month, do you have your methods through which people are coming to you? This is where you start to kind of map out.
That's what I'm creating right now. Yeah. So I've got
Okay.
my course. Well, I'm making my course, and then I'll do Facebook ads,
Okay.
and then obviously social media promotions.
Okay.
Just being on socials.
So for you, it's course creation.
Yeah.
You like the Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your social media promotion.
Yeah. And then I've got a webinar that people will watch and join, and yeah.
Great webinar. Okay, great. So I feel like you know exactly what you're doing.
Well, I've been trying this for quite a while, but it's something that's shifted recently to know that I'm worth it. Because what I've really struggled with is thinking that I couldn't do it and I wasn't good enough.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and my other vision is going to talk at schools and being on stage and talking. I really like that.
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
So you might put that in, you know, if this is now, this is 3 months from now, when would you start that process of talking in schools?
2 months, just because this coming month is all about the course. That's all I'm doing.
Totally. Okay. Month 2, prep, talking in schools. So same idea here. We're really kind of breaking this down to what, now we're like getting specific, right? We could even get more specific, right? Course creation. What am I doing this week, right? I could look at the next 4 weeks and I could say, okay, when is my course created? Is it created next week? I could even put the date, right?
Yeah, it'll be 4 weeks. 4 weeks time. It's
Okay.
quite.
So it'd be like June, let's just say it's June 20th. And then start running Facebook ads.
Pretty much when it's done. Yeah, in 4 weeks time.
So you have to create the ads, right?
Yeah, I've pretty much got them. But yeah, I need to then set it all up.
Right. Set up around 6:20 and then run, right? So you can kind of see where we're headed, right? So if you're doing this too.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at, okay, well, when am I going to run them? I mean, if this is sort of, I know I have.
Well, 1 month, pretty much 1 month's time. Yeah, I think big vision is like 3 to 6 months, but I know that's a bit vague.
That's fine. Yeah, but when you do that, you can start to see, like, is that reasonable, right? I'm going to set up the ads. I'm going to run the ads, right? So,
yeah.
So now we're starting to look at like real specifics. Like if I have specifics, then, well, now I know I'm either doing it or I'm not, or if I'm getting in my own way, I can sort of see, you know.
Yeah,
right?
because I like doing this exercise and I really enjoy it. And then I get caught up in the weeds. Like and then I just go into, I can't do this.
So
And
when
then,
that happens, I think one of the best things we can do is ask, well, what is my one next step? Because it can feel, you said a lot of things here, you know, if I had 0 Facebook ads set up, right? If I didn't even know how to do Facebook ads, I know you do. And so you already kind of have, it's great, it's gold. You already have that. But if someone didn't, it can feel very, I think we were all kind of talking about this. I think other people can probably really relate to how it feels overwhelming. This is why, and this is a little bit, you know, some of you, if you're real organized people, this might look super messy to you. I'm trying. But you know, you can kind of clearly make it look a little more organized. I feel like if I had actual paper, I could do it a little bit more, but whatever. So, you know, see progress over perfection. So you're going from like, well, you know, I know halfway through I want to have 10 clients a month. What's my strategy to get there? Well, I have this course. I'm going to have it done by June 20th. Okay, so what's next? Well, I'm going to have my Facebook ad set up. So now you can start to get specific about even the weeks that you are doing these things, so that look, we're busy, you know, you got kids, some of us had a second job somewhere, right? Like life is happening. I think what happens sometimes is we say, well, I need to wait. It's super busy right now. I'm going to wait. When is it not? Right? Something else comes up and then someone's doing this and then they're in soccer and then this is happening and then it's summer. Well, okay. If I got the ball rolling before my trip, if I got the ball rolling, like we're going away in June. I could have said, I'm not going to do this right now. I mean, it might seem far away, but if I got overwhelmed, I would have said, oh, I'll wait. It would literally be like August before I did another thing like this. And I'm so glad we're sitting here. It's like, why would I keep putting something off because I have life happening, right? So when I say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going away to Fiji for a month in June. It's New York. I wish it were Fiji. New York. picture of you two. So I might say, you know what? I am gonna get the course done. Why wait? I can get that done. Well, in what time? I'm super busy. This is what's happened, you know? How did I make a card deck? How did I put a book together, right? You know, it's like these little chunks of time. When can I get this done? You know, I work really well in the mornings. My kids are going to be not in their school situation in a week or so. I love the mornings. I'm going to take, you know, 7 to 9 a.m. and just like pop this out. That's when I know I'm going to do it. Like we can get super specific now, right? Literally week by week. And look, I'm a Cancer sun. There's a lot of water in my chart. So this is not necessarily the place I gravitate towards. But what I have noticed is me being all flowy has been lovely. And when I harness my flowy self and I actually just put on a calendar what I'm doing, I'm like, okay, I'll show up for that. And then I can put my flowy stuff around the things that I actually want to get done. So I don't feel like, oh, I'm a slog and now I'm just changing my, no, like the fact I actually have that anchored, my anchors allow me then to go swim off through the ocean in this analogy that we're using, right? So I invite you here, as I am doing this with Helena, to get specific. Where are you halfway? Where are you, I don't know, a quarter of the way? Where are you now? Where are you this week? Where are you Friday morning? So as we look at this, Helen, I'll just ask you, it doesn't have to be Friday. Maybe you got stuff going on. What is like one of your next steps that you're looking to accomplish tomorrow or even next week?
Well, tomorrow it's finishing week 2 of my course. It's really, I'm just head down, bum up of creating my course and servicing my existing clients at the moment. That's all I've got capacity for.
Okay. And you can even get specific as to like what module, right? Well, I'm going to finish, you know, if you work that way, I'm going to finish module 1 Friday. I'm going to research for module 2 Monday. I'm going to finish module 2 Tuesday. See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And because my kids are off on holidays next week, so that throws a spanner in the works. So yeah, it's being very specific and intentional before the holidays in particular, I think is so important.
Absolutely. Also, because when we have things like, you know, summer coming up and travel coming up, like if we build it in so that we can take that time off, I know what it's like to be thinking about the stuff you're not doing when you're doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's nice to just be like, you know what? Like, I know when I'm doing that. I already got this stuff done. Maybe I am taking an hour when they're chilling, if they do. I don't know how old your kids are, but mine are a little older now, so they have more chill time, more independent time. But when they were younger, you know, I definitely had to work around that. If it was, you know, or maybe it was in the evening, or maybe, you know, I had my husband kind of do something with them, so I could do my thing. If I know, hey, Tuesday 6 to 8, I'm going to do my thing at a coffee shop, then my husband can hang out with the kids then. But if I know it in advance, then I can actually plan for it instead of like, how am I going to get this done, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. How are we doing with this? Would anyone like some specific particular, and thank you for being our guinea pig. I hope that felt supportive. Okay.
Yeah, it did. Thank you very much. It was great.
Yeah.
Just to be your guinea pig.
Yeah,
Thanks.
of course.
Stephanie,
So
what do we do when so much is out of our control? Like, I can't control that I'm going to meet the right guy, or that, you know, an agent's going to find my fiction of interest. You know, and it's like, even with my jobs and my line of work, it's not reasonable for me to say I'm going to win, you know, my high yield clients. That's why I've had to go to contract work. So there's some real barriers, and I want to believe this stuff. You know, I want to believe that I can bounce back, but it gets difficult.
Mhm. No, I hear you. And I think there's like probably 2 or 3 things I want to say here. So, and the one thing is just so I don't forget, I'm going to talk about Leanna. So if I do forget this, just remember I said Leanna. But the thing when you're talking about sometimes we do pivot, right? Sometimes we pivot because it's a bit of both and. If I am, let's take Leanna, okay? Leanna recently got divorced. She's a friend of mine. So, and I have never seen someone just go for it in the dating world. In her 40s, got 3 kids. She just like took it on like there was no way she wasn't gonna date. There was no way she wasn't gonna meet someone. Like that was not going to happen. Manifesting, I believe it. Manifesting. Like, I'm gonna go in the Peace Corps. There's no way I'm not going in the Peace Corps. I'm gonna meet someone. There's no way I'm not gonna. This is channel Leanna. Leanna
Yeah.
is like my spirit animal when it comes to like.
Yes. Like what you said yesterday, I think about and so, or that I wrote it down because what you said, like when you went into the Peace Corps and like, but of course,
Right.
like believe it.
So, and I also look at, let's say, like my husband is very funny. He loves stand-up comedy. Would he love, I don't know actually if he'd love to be a stand-up comedian or not. I would venture to say if he were to be like, I'm going into stand-up comedy tomorrow, I'm also aware realistically of what it looks like to go into a field like that. Do you see what I mean? So at the same time that I'm like, yes, and can he also express himself in that way if he wants to, along the way with helping support a family and whatnot. Do you see what I mean? So could he go to the comedy bar and do stand up? Absolutely. Could he make his way forward in that way? I believe in him. I've seen one of our friends went from owning an ad agency to becoming like a very like, well, at least in our area, a well-known painter. And he, what he does? He networks. He has an incredible network. He does a lot of what's it called, like charity events where he's like something's getting auctioned, a piece of art is getting auctioned. He talks to all the restaurants. You'll see his art in all the restaurants. He is prolific because of the way in which he shows up, and he makes what? Connections, right? People aren't putting his art up in their restaurants because he just showed up and like, he makes real connections with them, right? So I think those are the main things that I would say around what you're saying. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that passion that you bring in that I truly believe. I mean, I'm believing these things now more than ever because I'm clear.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm much clearer, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Beautiful. Yeah. And then, you reverse engineer your actions. Oh, I'm going to go on this dating app, or I hate dating apps. I'm going to go
Yeah.
on some meetup thing. I'm going to go bowling with some group. I'm going to go to salsa dancing with some group. I'm going to get myself
Yeah.
out there. I'm going to find a matchmaker. I'm going to, what
Well,
action? So
yes, and actually I took the step last week or so. Despite not being able to really afford it, I joined a high-end dating service that is matchmaker and it's very personalized. And I used to write how to date articles and fun dating articles, and I've already learned from these people. So yeah,
great.
so I'm embarking on that. I thought that's an embodied action.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah.
Clicks for you.
Yeah, but some of the other thing I feel like in the career and in, my unpublished fiction, I feel like I'm even leaning in. I'm putting my back into it big time.
Mhm.
But because I'm clear, I feel just much more that I have tools. So yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but it's hard to take more sure shots in those realms for me
Well,
because yeah.
And that's what was it?
Yeah.
I think Wayne Gretzky. I used to say this when I worked in like outdoor education. I don't know. Somebody said this. I'm like, I'm going to say it too. It's like you always miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So take your shots. Let it just be like a playground, you know? Let it be a playground. That's how you get to, I love that, meet that person. So, all right, let me just kind of go back to this. So thank you for going through that. Basically, it's, you know, this is kind of what we're looking at. What's the next action I need if I am feeling overwhelmed? Let me reverse engineer this. What information do I not have, right? Is there a certain question I need to have answered? Like, hey, I'm going to go join a dating matchmaking place. What support or resource do I need? Hey, do I need my husband to help out, not help out, but just to, you know, shift our schedules so that I can do this. This is important to me. How can I get support? My kid's gonna go on some play date, so I can get support in that way so I can get this done, right? What support, what resource do I need? So with this, as we're kind of coming into time, if it's okay with you, you know, I just want to kind of share really briefly a resource that you might be interested in, that some of you are already in. So is that okay? Take a minute to kind of share a little resource here. Okay, so let me kind of open this up. So basically, like I mentioned, I do have this manifesting mastery program, and we kind of expand on a lot of what we've already been doing here and we'll do tomorrow. And it's really helping us to shift away from these limiting beliefs and fears and take this aligned action with support. So you're not doing it alone. And what this means is that you're really able to just accelerate. So whether it's business growth, we've got, you know, some people are already in the world of corporate, you know, or real estate. So whatever it is for you, being able to amplify that. And, you know, I understand that sometimes like we have like these reasons like, well, you know, why would I do this now? Or what if I don't feel clear, right? And the thing about the program that I set up is that I set it up in a way that if you don't feel consistent, that's why we have accountability. If you know, don't feel like you're ready to be visible, that's why I actually have a one-on-one visibility session for you. If you're not really sure about your niche, that's why we get to help you with your personal vision and dating it. And if you feel like the timing isn't right, you have access to our calls like forever. So, you know, if you're like, I need a little more time with this, like you'll have that time. And like I said before, you know, hey, I go on vacation. I love it when someone is willing to work with me. And if you're going to miss 2 weeks, you can always bank that like at the end of it. You know what I mean? So you don't feel like you have to lose out on anything. So we have these 12 weeks together. We do live group coaching calls. We've got 2 times we have. I'm offering like a fun boot camp for us. You've got a Facebook group you have access to forever, and you know you get the recordings forever. Part of the coaching is, you know, I offer this this visibility session, right? So we're kind of releasing some of the fears and helping you kind of get into this place where you can really be seen. You're also getting like your step-by-step vision map and just a personalized strategy. And then again, like I understand, you know, we're sitting here like for a reason because we have limiting beliefs, whether they come from society or people are going to think we're a stinky sardine. So we do some group hypnosis as part of the program. I'm also offering 14 days of daily one-on-one accountability through Messenger. And then we kind of do these weekly quests. So this is where we've got our chat group and we're kind of supporting one another with what like you're doing week to week in our private group chat. So that's kind of the pricing. We can do payment plans. I think 600, good Lord, what is that? It's like 150 per week. So if you break that down and, you know, if you're applying now, you get 2 extra one-on-one sessions. I have an intuition program. So if that's something that you want to lean into more, you can. And then you have that access forever. And the way it kind of looks, the breakdown, this is kind of like rolling, like when you enter, you know, you will get all of these throughout your time together. is getting the clarity, getting your roadmap. I really love certain practices for clearing the channel writing for higher guidance. I'd say that that's been a really great place for us in the group. We do group hypnosis as well. And then some of you probably are familiar with what's called Akashic Records. So we just did this on Monday. If anyone is in a group, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to speak towards that, I know we got some really profound experiences and just for deep grounding and trust and going into the Akashic Records. It's like your whole soul's library. And then there is a week we do your human design too. That's been really eye-opening because it helps us to understand how we best make decisions, how we actually best operate, right? And how we best operate with others. So rather than kind of fight your own energy and how you make decisions, you can kind of lean into it. And then of course, we have the accountability. So it's a little bit of how it looks. If anyone has any questions on that, and if you do feel like you'd like a little more support or you're just feeling, unclear about something, feel free to, find me, message me just for a free manifesting session. I know it's different from the VIPs, but we can take a look at kind of maybe a blind spot for you and a next step. So I'm happy to do that together. And one thing I really enjoy, there's this book, 10 times is easier than 2 times, is really this idea of sometimes what we're really doing is we're just overthinking stuff, right? We're getting bogged down in our own processes. And that's why I really enjoy being part of Masterminds and hosting this, because I think it's a place because we're in the rhythm of seeing one another weekly. And we know that we've kind of set out on these quests that we're more apt to kind of allow ourselves that drishti, like I mentioned at the beginning of our call, that point of focus. And we have some tools so that when we start to get in our own way, we can lean into that focal point for ourselves. So that's what that's all about. If you are interested, feel free to message me and we can have a conversation. Does anyone have any questions or want to see any of those slides again? All right, well, this is a chance to, if you have any other questions based on today, I am here for it. I can take a couple more minutes. Otherwise, tomorrow we are moving into some work specifically for our intuition. So making these quicker intuitive decisions, right, rather than overthinking. And some really cool practices for like a sort of personal accountability. So I'm excited for tomorrow. And it's been really cool to be on this journey with you so far. Oh, I got one more thing for you, which is your homework for tomorrow. Oh, I was going to show you, I got the homework over here. I did want to show you just because it helps sometimes, I think, to see other people that we might relate to. This is my client, Heather. She's also a dear friend of mine. And she really was in a place of like, she had a lot of trauma she was coming out of. And it really helped her to go through hypnosis. You can even see not only did she literally like night and day, like black and white, before and after. You can see the weight she lost through it as well, in also releasing the stuff that she'd been holding on for like a good 20 years. That helped her to get clarity and this accountability towards what she really wanted, which she wasn't clear on. And she is now rocking it. She moved into getting her Reiki and her hypnosis certification she just finished, and she's rocking it just with her clients and a group program that she started. So this is why I wanted us to do this today, is that these like small steps, these micro adjustments really can create that ripple effect. These small little choices that we make. What's my choice today? Am I going to lean into my fear? Am I going to take one action, make one phone call, ask one question, do one thing, right? These micro adjustments lead to really everything. And that's your quest, is to pop into our group chat and to let us know like your one step between today and tomorrow. What's your one next step? And that is your quest. All right, any other questions, ideas, thoughts? You are very welcome, Leslie. I will see you tomorrow. If nothing else, I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yay, Helena. I love it. I'm so glad to hear that. That's great. Bye, everyone. All right, is anyone staying? If not,